Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy. For reference, it is 4/4/2024 at about 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. There's a lot of fours in that.
There's 4 4s in that, by the way.
A lot of explanation.
Think about
right there.
that. 4/4/24 at 4:30. 4 4s.
Hey, I'm glad we waited this long in the day to do Tech Talk because that just props itself up perfectly.
Perfect. It's perfect. And we're working on like our number lines and stuff like that. There you go.
We're
Getting
doing
better
good.
at counting.
We're doing,
This is getting,
we're doing real good.
the show's starting off hot. It's good.
It's about to be my year. I can feel it.
This is it. The year, Cody.
Hey, before we get the show started, why don't you show everybody your T-shirt?
Sure. Sure thing. So the show's starting off even hotter. So Arnold.
There you go.
Did Mr. Universe, True Lies. I'm pretty sure that's from Commando, I think. But, hey, who's asking? Who's counting? Let's go. It's the year, Cody.
We have three charts today. One came at request.
And who did that come at request from?
Our good friend Mark from Michigan. Michigan Mark.
Michigan Mark. Okay. So Michigan Mark, this is what you want to look at, right? SPO? S&P?
I want to look at the S&P.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Michigan Mark. Let's take a quick peek here. Is this thing rolling over here? Uh-oh.
Well, what's interesting, when he emailed me, I was actually looking at it. I'm like, man, we never broke below the 20-day moving average, since the beginning of January. And all of a sudden today, as soon as we get on here, poof, there we go.
Gone. So when did Michigan Mark ask you to do this? Like what time of the day?
Yesterday mid-morning.
Okay, yesterday mid-morning. I was going to say, because we've had the pretty significant break here in the SPO in the last, I'm just going to pull up a quick 30-minute bar. This seems like news-related, right? So this is a 30-minute chart of today's activity. So 12:30 Central, 1 o'clock, 1:30, so on.
Some pretty recent news then.
I mean, I don't know what that news is, but it's the price action from this has been in the last 3 hours. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, this thing has just been rocking. I mean, look at how long this, look at this upward trend. I mean, you mentioned the 20-day moving average. That has officially been broken and settled through. We also broke through this long-term trend. This was on the 2nd. And then confirmed that breakout here, I'd say today. I mean, look at this. It tried to go back there today, right there, right on that high, and then failed to do so. That's weak. Not good. And then look at the secondary stuff too.
That's what I was actually just looking at. You're crossing over the momentum right now.
It's officially crossed zero for the first time since. So we were negative back in earlier in the year. So there's a little bit of a head fake back in here, right? But since then, it's just been smooth sailing. Ouchers. I don't know. Let's take a quick look at a monthly. I think just because of how much it's run higher, you would imagine that there's folks that are looking at this and saying, at what point do we need to roll over? Because we've seen multiple new highs. This could lead to a nice, healthy little retracement here.
I mean, on the monthly, we've retraced half of March's, but it's only the 4th of April. So I don't know if it's anything to get too excited about. Maybe because it is the 4th, it is something to get excited about.
I mean, this could get dicey. I mean, it could be, if you close below, what is this open right here? 5101. So that's last month, to your point on the monthly. You close below that, and it's just yikes. Do you go back and test this breakout here? Uh-oh. I would imagine, too, given its stocks, that tends to be one where, the average, retail investor, what's the expression? The bulls walk up the steps, the bears jump out the window. That's not the best expression, too, right? Maybe we should find something maybe, a little bit more fun.
Oh, yeah, and relevant.
Like water slide or something like that. Bears like to go down water slides. We'll work on it.
I think what's interesting, we've seen this before on the S&P, where if you even go back into the beginning of March, I mean, we started rolling over, we had 3 days down, and all of a sudden, boom, we'd retrace that in 2 days, make new highs, kind of do the same.
Right here.
Exactly. Yeah. The same little song and dance that we just kind of keep moving higher. So
I guess the only difference I would see here is that you broke through the long-term trend and you're getting a confirmation. You broke through, tried to come back into it today, and then failed to do so, and are now actually through, the 20-day moving average. Let's look at one that's a little bit longer. I know 50-day is one that's usually a little bit more popular too, especially with the SPO. So you still have some room on some of these longer term ones. I think if you broke this 50-day, that would get really dicey. I guess you want to be careful here, right? I mean, I don't know if you can just say we're just going to roll over just yet. Another lower open tomorrow, and you start to get some confirmation of this break, this not break, but I mean the breakout of the upward trend. It could get a little rocky here for the old stocks. I mean, you're not going to retire though, right? You're going to fall over dead and call that retirement. What do you care?
There you go. Exactly. So what do you got to worry about?
What do you have to worry about? You're going to be out there just doing stuff and
rocking and rolling
on your porch, rocking at 90 years old. Still what do you think you're going to be doing at 90?
Hopefully I'm still kicking at that point, honestly.
Let's get there first.
Like, let's get to 40 and we'll see how I feel.
Fair enough. May milk. Let's go.
May
Is that
milk.
13 last? Whoa. 50 higher? Oh my
I
gosh.
was gonna say, since we've jumped on here, this thing is really taken off the high side.
Just rocking here.
We sold 1591 today.
So again, to your point, the settlement is actually going to be, you said 1591?
Correct.
So this is where the settlement's actually going to be. So that's where the settlement's actually going to be called 91.92. So it will show, a pretty high wick there. But, that said, do we open higher tomorrow? We want to be a little bit careful in saying, because if we're right back to where we are come this time tomorrow or even tonight, that trade was really occurring after the close today. Oh, that said, you have this steady downtrend. We're actually now starting to actually test a little bit of it too. But I also think what's interesting about it is that checkout base is loaded to learn more about April. But I feel like April, that has been a trade. It's been basically hovering around 15.5. Where's that? 15.49. That's going to require some upside in cash, or it's kind of forecasting that we're going to see maybe higher premiums, or WAY doesn't break as much in the NAS. Either way, it's forecasting some sort of potential upside, either basis or cash or WAY or all of the above. So, when May got close to 15.75, 15.80 May, that just becomes a little bit more of a tougher sale if April's really going to be good at 15.5. Because May is a 5-week month too. But to me, it's you had a lot of kind of, congestion and noise kind of in and around here, right?
Yep.
So we start pricing that next week, but the week after, it's a 5-week month. If you got cheese back above let's say 150 or something, I think you could start to see, this start to go a little bit. And I don't know where you're going to get new sellers either.
Correct. And we've seen, you and I were talking about this offline, but the past couple of days, the volume that we've seen in May alone has been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I think yesterday was over 1,000 contracts. Wednesday or Tuesday, I believe, was over 1,000 also. And today we're at 842. So, it's not like this is on light volume by any means.
Right, for sure. And I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, open interest has been going up too. And that's,
good point.
That's a two-way street, right? An open interest build is, every one is a new seller and a new buyer. Yes. Right. And so you are getting new selling here. But like I said, what's interesting is you're starting to see some new buying. Let's say we were the close here tomorrow. You would have been over the open over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions. Right. I think that's a material thing. To your point, those last 4 sessions, not including today, it's been a ton of volume. And if some of it's new selling, you're starting to leave. Well, it is new selling because of open interest. So if you're starting to leave some of that selling, that new selling behind, do you start to see some short covering that that takes place? Plus, too, I think you also have to be mindful of, man, we've really broke. I don't think the scale really does it justice to go from 1830 to 1560, 1562. That's a big break. That's close to $3. That unto itself, I think, warrants just a retracement back to this, what is it, 30%, 33%?
Yeah.
1664, right back within all this noise. I think that's where we're going.
And at that point, you've broken out of that downward trend. Because on yours, I have mine drawn pretty well the same, and we haven't quite broken out of it yet.
Very
on
close.
That downward trend. Very close. We tested it.
We just tested it today.
But not broken out.
We have not broken out. So what's interesting, too, is that you're getting some of these secondary indicators that are starting to point to, we just took a trip into being oversold on the RSI. So it was technically oversold and came back in. Breaking that blue line and then coming back in. The breaking of the blue line is a warning if you're short, and coming back out of it is, that's a signal to get long. If you're just going off the secondary stuff, right? And then the momentum too, I think you could argue they chart technically, right? And so you had this big downward trend here that just recently got broken. And now you have, you're almost establishing a new trend here with a higher low. So this could get interesting, especially if this crosses 0 and the momentum shifts into the bull side, and cash has been, it's just been kind of sideways here at 144.5, 145.
Yep.
So I don't know. It could get interesting for this contract, given how much it's broken and just kind of the general tone feeling of the market. Our sellers getting a little tired in the futures market. They need, new news. We'll see. This could get a little spicy.
A little spicy.
Speaking of spicy,
May feeders.
This one's getting spicy too. Oh, what do you think here, boss?
You know what? It looks to me as if these are bear flags forming right there.
Okay. Are you saying here?
Exactly. What we have propping up right now is exactly what it looks like it was back in the 26th of March, starting then.
I totally agree with you. And I'll supplement your argument by saying, I think we're saying the same thing, basically. But this is a big move in a single day, right? So, that's down over $5. This one's down 6, right? Those are massive moves. This one's down 4 and some change. But I mean, like, this is the best that bulls can do after the big break. And then bam, right in the face again. And then here we are kind of just putting around the close here, right? I mean, it basically closed same price 2 days later. You're making this like kind of narrowing band that's usually a sign of continuation. In this case, it would be down. So I don't know. Technically, it's not looking so hot. And then when you look at feeders, I mean, you and I've looked at this at length, but I mean, this is a weekly. Feeders have had a huge run, but I mean, this is just, look at this M.
Mm-hmm.
Lower high on the longer term chart. Great looking M. This would indicate that you're going back down into like this area right here. What is this? 210, 215?
Yeah.
So
when I look at it on a daily, I mean, when we were looking at May, it looks like you're going to have a quick drip down to 235, which you're only talking, a few very short.
It's not that far away, right? That's one of these days from here, right?
Yeah. We said it before, but we kind of consolidated it at that 235 number before into December of 2023, moved ourselves higher, and now we're just kind of trickling the same, way that we were at that point, obviously at a higher number. So I don't know. But when you look at it on a monthly, like you just did.
That was a weekly. Let's look at a monthly.
Weekly.
I mean, the monthly looks very similar. Lower high. And then it looks like it wants to go back into this hammer area right here. This could get ugly. But going back to, like, you think about how long was feeder cattle between 140 and, call it, a little dip into 120s. But for the most part, this is call it like the meat.
Exactly.
So it feels like it hasn't, like it's broken a lot when you look at like on a daily chart, but it really hasn't. It's got a lot of room to potentially break down here should it start to really fall apart. So I don't know. This one could get dicey. I think you're right, though. This is like you're stair stepping itself down nicely. And I think this could be a quick trip and like down into here, go start over, so to speak.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oof, May 44 higher. Let's go. How about that, Jack?
Sounds like we might have to have May Class 3 on next week's Tech Talk also.
We may
put it on the docket.
Put it on the docket. Let's go. I don't know. Any closing thoughts? Any closing remarks? Cody's Corner.
Closing thoughts. I'd like to see how May opens up tonight, honestly, and what kind of volume's there. Because if we do go back, when we opened up, I think it was Tuesday, we traded like 100 cars right away. I mean, open. Here we go.
Boom.
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 And I guess checking open interest tomorrow is going to be interesting to see what we did today also.
Agree.
But I don't know. That's kind of all I got. I get a little bit nervous to the downside on feeders. A little bit more bullish on May Class 3 right now, I think.
You're buying May 3, selling May feeders. You're in the Class 3 feeder spread.
Spreading it out.
We're spreading it out. All right, fair enough. Did you get an orange cat yet, or what?
No, God, no. I have not gotten a cat yet. Or a grill.
Or a grill, or plates, or maybe that's it. This could be the year.
It could be a good year.
You're gonna have like a parrot or something back there one day, and it's just gonna be like, you just gotta get a parrot instead. I think you would do well with like a parrot on your shoulder or something like that, like a toucan, one of those big like birds or something. I don't know.
All right, well, until I figure out my animal situation,
until we figure out the zoo you're gonna have.
Until we figure out the zoo here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Mark, we appreciate you emailing in.
Michigan Mark. Thank you.
Shout out to Mark. If everyone would, please like the channel, hit the subscribe button, leave us a note, tell us how much you love us or hate us. Either way, all publicity is good publicity.
You're just like, you're a PR superstar.
Glass half full.
Okay.
And with that, everybody, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Hasta la vista, baby.